Hello, friends. I am OmnusI, here once more in my lair to answer another question posed by the RPG Brigade of Facebook for the RPG A Day Challenge. Today is the 23rd of August, almost to the end, so we're going to answer the 23rd question. Which game do you hope to play again? Role-playing game, since this is the focus, of course. I have two answers to that. Because, you see, the word play is a little open-ended. I, of course, mostly run games, so I'll answer what do I hope to run again, and what do I hope to play again. I have had the opportunity to play a number of games, of course, many of which I've enjoyed tremendously, some that I'm indifferent to, and only one or two that I really hated. So the options that I have are I have quite a few. But I think the one that I would like to play the most, with an engaged group of players who really want to play the game and to do something in the world, even if it's a little more railroady than the sandbox we were offered. What I would like to play is Exalted, a game by, originally by White Wolf, and since they're kind of, I'm not sure what the status of Exalted is, to be honest with you. Ank's Path, I know, has the World of Darkness for the most part, but I don't know if Exalted is part of that. Exalted is a role-playing game set in a kind of a mythic Earth, specifically culture-wise, the Orient. I would say primarily China. The style of the play is fast-paced. As far as combat and things go, think Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, with very cinematic, over-the-top, bending reality to make the rule of cool work. If it's cool, your characters can probably do it. And it's got a great framed setting. Your characters are godlings. They are super powerful beings who are yet in their infancy of their powers. And they're reborn into a world that hates them because the world has been broken once or twice. And the latest breaking was done to save them from you, who had become kind of power drunk. So now you come back to the world, and the world needs saving. And your characters can do that, or do whatever they want. Honestly, they can wallow in excesses themselves if they so choose. And there's a whole great list of adversaries to deal with, but ultimately, your characters could be very, very, very good as well. The first character that I played for it, I wanted to play a paragon, a person who you could look to and say, this person is unquestionably the hero. And the rest of the group was not interested in doing that. I have talked about this before. But I think if everybody wanted to get together and delve into the overall storyline of the world Exalted is told with it, it would be fascinating. We only got to scratch the surface in the little bit of time that I played in it. And again, a lot of that time was marred by being adversarial against people in my own group. But the world fascinated me. I did go out and I bought the books, and I bought a few other supplementary books as well. It made it to a couple of editions, so there's lots of material. White Wolf was never shy about publishing supplemental things that gave extra lore to flesh out their worlds. So there is that. And from what I have, I could tell a great story already. I would like to run it myself. I have not ever done that. I've only played in it, and we only did that for a relatively short time. But I'd much rather play it right now than run it. Because if I run it, it's going to be this over-the-top epic, which is fine, but I've got other games that I want to do before I do that. But I would like to play it if I could cherry pick out the game that I would play. As far as what I would run, one of the very first role-playing games I've ever owned was GURPS, the generic universal role-play system. I had the 3rd edition. It is now in its 4th edition. And its parent company, sadly, isn't supporting it as much anymore. Most of their source books and things are available digitally, but thank goodness they printed out an awful lot, because GURPS is one of those games. When it says generic universal, they mean it. You can do literally anything with that game. You can, with the right source books and supplements, you could simulate spaceship combat from ships that fire nuclear missiles. You could run in virtually any genre, from fantasy, Stone Age, Renaissance with swashbuckling, a gritty World War II epic. You can do anything with that system. I would like to do a fantasy game using that system, or perhaps it's truncated cousin, Dungeon Fantasy, which is a bit tighter. It doesn't give you all of the options, because GURPS, being universal, covers everything from all genres and tech levels and things like that. With Dungeon Fantasy, it's just your medieval, early Renaissance type fantasy high magic dungeon crawler. Much as Dungeons and Dragons and the like. It's a nice tight system, and it would enable me to run without overwhelming my players with options and choices, which is nice. It's something I definitely intend to use at some point or another. I have done GURPS, a few times. Never as much as I've wanted to. I've always been intrigued by the system, but the fantasy world that I would set it in is the same fantasy world as my fiction Necromancer's Dirge. Very, 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 very magical, very high magic. Striated magical society. There are monsters roaming around that are usually former mages who magic got to be too much for them. It's a well-realized world in my head, which would make, I think, for a very interesting game, and would be nice to introduce other people into this world. Starting with my players, who are a safe group. I know them, and they generally they're generally fairly positive to my creative wanderings. So that's my answer. That is the game I'd like to play, and that is the game that I would like to run. I hope you enjoyed it. But it's a quick one, but that is my answer for RPG a Day for this, the 23rd. I hope that you continue following me in this little journey, and tomorrow will be another question and another answer. I am OmnusI, thanking you for being here with me here in my lair. Until next time, farewell.